Hey YouTube, what is up? Number 10 got messed up, man. It got lost on the PC. Then my Google Drive signed itself out for some reason. So my backup didn't back up. I tried to recover it from, literally from, like, the deleted recycle bin thingamajig. And then it got overwritten by one of the other things that I'd already rendered. So it was unrecoverable, basically. So what I'm going to do is, so instead of adding, you know, like an extra bit on the end like I normally do, I'll give my actual final thoughts at the end, but I know roundabout what I said to the song. I'll try to keep it as similar as I can to what I originally did, and then I'll discuss the album in more depth and what I think in places I think needs to be improved, and so on, so on, so on. So let's go. This is only my second time listening to it as well, so it shouldn't be too bad. This is my favourite symphonics of the whole album too. It's so pretty. And that piano, man. That piano is everything, bro. It sounds like heavier deer or something to me. Something like that anyway. No kind of like heavy metal, but much heavier vodka. In terms of the vibe about it. Maybe Saphathy a little bit? I don't know. Something like that. Oh, that guitar line's everything too, man. Second time it's even better, just so you guys know. First time was amazing, but I was tired. Second time, wow. I love the symphonics, man. Obviously Alex's voice is amazing too, but damn me. Yep, that's the land of his dreams for sure. So the song. What is it about? Where do we think we are? So obviously we had Your God just before. My opinion was that he was in a delusion. He was in a state of madness where he doesn't quite know where he was going towards it. But this is his dream. This is what he would make. This would be his heaven. You know, when he said that this would be heaven, like that his world would be heaven. This is what he would make. This is what he would build. This is his epitome. His what he wants to do, what he would literally do if this was a real thing he could do, right? So the sunset rays play like sparks of diamonds, so the sunset like will literally like spark into diamonds, man, so it'll flash almost like it's the stars at night on gold of minarets. I still didn't research what minarets are, but I'm assuming it's something fancy that crown this city. So the minarets, I'm guessing, are just things across the city, basically, maybe things that go across the buildings and stuff like that. The entrance fee is paid in blood and suffering, so at the beginning of the album, we know that he released his minions across the world, and we see it partially as we go further into things like Your God, the Raven, Language of My Pain, and so on. We kind of see parts of that, and we see parts of his army working. Like, the album isn't 100% like lyrically sound, in my opinion. There's bits missing, in my opinion, but we'll get to that later. But still, like, we see his like minions going across, and he's devastating the world. He's making sure he's the only one left, or maybe that's just his delusion. That's a hard to know thing, isn't it? Though it's kind of hard to know whether we're in his state of madness or whether this is a literal being of destruction, a being of, or a god, should we say? I'm going for a being of destruction because a god by normal state, by normal maneuvers, whichever way you want to go about it, is benevolent, knows everything, doesn't make mistakes, can see every possible outcome, every possible future, and can predict and make the right choices at the right moment, and even go back in time and change their choices if they really wanted to, because that's what a god is meant to be. It's meant to be something that is perfect, and perfection is not a thing we as mortal beings can possess. We can chase it, but we can never capture it, as Abathur would say from StarCraft. And yeah, so obsession is what makes the Seekers worthy. So if like the obsession is like, say if you're obsessed with this cult religion, whichever way you want to go about the Dark Prophet, that's what makes you worthy, because you obsess over it. You go towards his things, you go towards his destruction, his demeanor, you go towards his love and towards his cruelty, and to all of those things. The gleams of candle flames wander over, the curves of succubi, and yeah, so like there's candle flames like going all over, there's succubi like women like all over, like dancing, I'm assuming. Yeah, dancing in the smoke when the seductive poses flow. Like succubi are meant to be able to lure men's heart, and meant to be able to like lure them into be the most beautiful creatures in existence, in order to take their power, their souls, their energy, whichever way you want to go about it. There's so many different versions of succubi out there, but you get the idea. In one into another, then I feel like home, like that's his ideal, that's what he dreams of, this is his literal like epitome of his thinking, like, you know, this is where he would love, or what he would love to do, and you get the idea. So yeah. Man, that piano is gorgeous, man. That piano is everything. The whole symphonics are amazing, man. In terms of pure symphonics, this one's probably the best, I would say. We're back into the next chorus already, man. The song is so well made. Like, each song is perfectly crafted, in my opinion. Like, the song itself is perfectly crafted, perfectly written, whichever way you want to go about it, right? It's just the links between that really mess up this album, which is kind of sad, man. Otherwise, this would probably be album of the year. Unfortunately, it's not, but it's close to it. I don't know yet. There's been so many bands, man, like, that I've done that I don't know. They're, like, album-wise, I'm kind of limited this year, so I'm going to try to shove in as many albums as I can between now and December. But still, majestic libraries. The knowledge is unlimited. That would be sick. I would love to have a library that's unlimited, that you could forever learn, you could forever go within whichever way you wanted to go. Because knowledge isn't just about intelligence, about expanding. You could go for an infinite amount of knowledge in fiction, or whichever way you wanted to go about it, and it would be marvelous and magical, and damn, stay a while and listen to. That's just Deckard Cain from Diablo right now. Just straight Deckard Cain for some reason. Like, I knew he put it in there. I saw it, the moment I saw it, I was like, nah, that's totally Diablo. The Words of Wizards, that's also similar to that. Like, that's the kind of thing, that's where I'm going. Like, I think that's literally, like kind of foreshadowing the works of fiction in that. For all the kinds of joy beyond imagination. Yeah. Unblamed hedonism, infinite freedom. Infinite freedom sounds amazing. That's just something that all of us would love and need, man. We're so cooped up in our lives, man. Imagine having infinite freedom where you can do what you like and nothing's going to stop you. There's no work, there's no anything that's going to hold you back. You don't have to have money. You can just learn forever. You can indulge forever. You can have nothing but pleasure, nothing but time. And it sounds magical, right? I love Alex's Lewis though. His Lewis is so good. with the piano makes this low, he makes this growl sound way different, if you know what I mean. Like really, really different. The piano is everything for me, man. I don't know what, it just cuts through everything. And this one, this symphonic is gorgeous too. It sounds very, very, very like a high mixture between Epic and Irish, in my opinion. And some acoustic, man, because why the hell not? We haven't had much acoustic in this, but I'm not the most massive fan of acoustic, but it sounds gorgeous. It's done very, very well. Oh man, that guitar! Wow, just wow, man. Probably one of my favourites, like solos in this whole album. It's just beautiful, man. Just amazing. The music's really speaking for itself, man. Man, his passion is everything, man. His passion is amazing, man. Beautiful song. An amazing end to the album, in my opinion, man. One of the greatest ends to the album we've heard. Not this year, though. This year, the best end to this year had to be Lord of Shore with the Pain Remains trilogy. That trilogy is iconic, but this was a great one. This was amazing, beautiful. Like the symphonics were everything, the piano was everything. Alex's vocals, his passion, everything. You can feel it, you can see it. But like I said, man, my issue isn't with each song. Each song is well written, it's well made. The whole album is masterful in so many ways. But before we get into that, let's see. Now I need to remember exactly what I said when I said it. So, Unfamiliar Constellations challenge in the Never-Ending Clash. So, what we're trying to get to here is that, so like as we said, somewhere near the beginning, like this is all sun worship, right? This is all like that's what gods are. It's sun worship, just in many other different forms. So, what he's saying is that he's not of our constellation, is not our sun. He's a different sun in this Milky Way, in the galaxy, if you know what I mean. That's kind of where I think it's going, where like the unfamiliar constellations, because it might be the sun of a different planet, of a different thing, a different belief, a different system, a different universe with different creatures and different people, which is why things like vampires exist, which is why things like succubi exist, and lots of other things. And it's why we get onto things like the Sultans of Demons weaving their fate, which is a very nice metaphor too, but you get the idea, right, that there's not just one sun in the universe. We have our sun, we worship it because it keeps us alive. That's always why we've always done it. But what about the other universes? Don't they have a sun to worship too? And that's exactly what this is. This is the Dark Prophet, the acclamation of the Jesus-like properties, but in a much darker way. Like, in a way of destruction and releasing plagues and just his minions and everything else across the entirety of the world. And just pushing everything into that. And maybe that's just how that universe is run by him. Maybe the sun's different. Maybe the god is realised in a different way. That's hard to know. That's my thoughts, or my initial thoughts that I did right when I read this bit before. So, never-ending joy trying to please the Sultan of Demons weaving their fate. The Sultan of Demons would definitely be the Dark Prophet, because the Dark Prophet is the dark version of that. He's meant to be someone closer to Satan than somebody who's closer to God. But Satan's never the bad guy. Satan was forced to do what he does. So therefore, if this Dark Prophet takes over, it's like the Antichrist, but done differently, kind of. In my opinion, it's something to that degree. That's where I think it went. That's really where I put it. Like, it's masterful. Like, written so well. I love this album so much. I even made one of the songs my new intro, just because it was just that good, man. Just because it spoke to me. It spoke to parts of me that, like, you guys know, you saw the video, but still, or go watch the video if you don't know what I'm on about. And then we've already done this bit, right? Then that's the land of my dreams, where I live, where I die, where I am trying to find the meaning of life. Like, that's the land of his dreams. That's the land in his head. That's the land he dreams of, the place he wants to be, where he wants to live, where he wants to die, what he's trying to find right now. That place where he can have everything. And the land of my strife, the land of my love, the land where shines my lights, or my light. I said it so weirdly when I said that. I don't know why, but we get the idea. Like, because there's things that I've messed up during my breakdown, right? Because I've had Alex comment on videos telling me more what he's intending. So because I know more what he's intending, I can kind of push this towards everything. So his love is that ice queen, that person in the snow, that everything else in Broken Mirror as well. That person just, you know what I mean? That's his love, who he's watching from afar, who he falls in love with, who ends up going to purgatory, to a place where she's beyond death and is waiting for him. That's his love. That's what that is. And we get the idea, man. Like, the land where shines my light, as in the light bringer, as in a satanic reference. We get, like, there's so many metaphors through this album that I've most likely missed, but we get the idea. I get why that happens, but the thing that doesn't really work for me is that we go from Children of the Night into Outcast of Eden, and those two songs work perfectly, right? Like, that's perfectly now. But then when we go into Darkness, then we go into Darkness Unleashed, which is fine. Then we go into Broken Mirror, but the story doesn't change its style. So we think it's the same person, whereas in reality it's to a whole different person. So all you needed at that beginning of that song, or at the end of the other, that, for, like, in a place not with the Dark Prophet, or to something to that degree, like in a different place, in a different part of the world or whatever, or from afar I watched upon, and you know, you get the idea, right? Then it would have worked. Then it would have switched over perfectly. And then, as he saw that happen, as he saw that person die, as he saw that person go into that purgatory, that Asphodel meddles with that thing, his fall into depression, his fall into darkness would have worked so much better. You would have felt it even more. And then you'd feel his pain. You'd get the Raven driving him into madness, into his godly form, into his anger, into his rage, into his land of dreams, into that place he wants to find so heavily, so perfectly. And wouldn't that just make a much better album? Wouldn't that tiny, tiny little change have made such a difference, just to know the switch, just to see it, like, just for it to be mentioned? Wouldn't that have just made the album perfect? Made it to that point where it would have been a masterpiece of a first album? This is as close to a masterpiece as you can get without quite being there, just because of that one little thing. The story doesn't quite make sense for me, personally. It could just be me, as this is just my opinion, my thoughts, my everything else, but at the same time, and it can't just be me, I don't know many reactors who do a lot of lyrical breakdowns. Like, I did my channel specifically because that's what I missed from other reactors. Like, I wanted more depth, more things going within it, and I just never got it. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to relearn how to speak. I'm going to do all these things. It's going to take me a long time, years upon years, but eventually I'm going to make it. I'm going to hit that 1,000 subs, and I'm going to get past that, and I'm going to do everything, and that's exactly what I did. And that's why I do what I do. And yeah, so I don't know. I've broken down a lot of songs, a lot of albums by now. No, well, not a lot, like a fair amount of albums, and a lot more to come in the future. But this was amazing. Like I said, man, each song is masterfully crafted. Just that one little switch, that one little change would have like changed the entirety of the album, the scope of the album. It would have made a lot more sense. But still, besides that, everything else was perfect. Alex's vocals are amazing. His growls, everything is clean. Everything is passion. Like, the passion is what sells this. Without the passion, without him specifically, because the amount of depth, the amount of time and energy he puts into everything that he's doing on this, you can hear it. You can feel it. You can see everything that's really making it what it is. Like, including the playing, man. Like, I know he did the flute. He did a lot of the instrument on it too, man. And then obviously the guitar work, the drums and everything else going along with it. This might be my album of the year. I don't know just yet. Like, it's so tied between a few bands. So we got ICDD, we got Saphath, we have Lorna Shore's album, and we have a few others, man. But still, we'll see as time goes on. I got so many more albums to do this year. We're almost to the end of November, so I'm probably going to end up trying to do another 2, maybe 3 if I can. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this, man. Something that had to re-record the 10th song, the last song. I hope it made sense, even though it was a second reaction, but still. Have a wonderful day, evening or night. Feel free to support me on Patreon if you like what I do. It helps me just like keep the lights on, able to fund the channel, add new stuff to it, put more time, more energy, and etc. into it. And yeah, take it easy, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. If you like this.